My name is Yane Robinson, and I'm the Chief Advisor of the Educator Suite. I help school leaders plan and build out their schools. But now this video is going to go a different way. I'm going to kind of go this way of saying, while I may have helped people build their schools, I want to discuss who truly should build a school. If you see that there is a need in your community where literacy is at the forefront and it's at an all-time record low, then you may be the person to want to be on a team that's starting a school. If you are already a part of a community where you are being active, you know who is who, you have an idea about who's in the community, you have relationships with your neighbors and friends and political officials, business officials, and so forth, then you may be geared up to help start a school. If you have been a leader of a current school and you are just not pleased with the way things are going, and you see that there is room for a turnaround, but because of who you are connected to, whether it be a board of directors or so forth, and you guys' mission are not in alignment with each other, then it may be time for you to try to start your own school. The key people who need to start a school is this: people who care. Oftentimes, people are building schools because they want the accolades, they want to build a school because, they want to see a difference in their community, and they just want to be a part of that change, right? And both of those are really, really good. The thing is that you need to know about all of the rules and the layers of when opening up a school. The discussion of whether you want to become charter, independent, or private needs to be addressed. You need to think about your structure. You need to think about the actual instructional content that is going to be taught. You need to think about the standards that are released in your state and what does that look like. You need to think about all the funding sources and where money and partnerships will come into play. You need to think about the community, things that you feel that can be of a great add to your community overall. And you have to be willing to be in the community to do business for the community. You also want to think about who to bring in on the team, whether it's the board or whether it's staff. You want to be very strategic and clear. Not knowing all of those things could hinder exactly what you're trying to grow. I also will say this: you need to have a plan. Now, before you apply to your state and say that you're going to have a school, they're already looking for you to have a plan. But here's the thing: that plan needs to be detailed, organized, and realistic. In order to really run a successful school, things as small as how many pencils will sit in a classroom should be thought of. Now, you may say, oh, that's a little out there, right? But no. When I was building my own company, which is a learning literacy center, I've had to think about the ins and the outs. Because at the end of the day, when you're thinking about all of the things that you want the kids to be able to accomplish and do, you have to think about the resources that you're going to tap into or that you will need in order for them to get to that point of growth. So again, this conversation of how to properly lead and who you need on your team is very, very essential. You also want to be very clear about your location and transportation, as well as the needs such as anything that includes sets or speech or occupational therapy. If you're in a community that has a high needs of autism or anything of that nature, you have to understand how you're going to support them. You have to make sure you have the right people at the table who can understand what needs to be done to properly serve, so that those students are not left behind but are also a part of the growth that you're putting in place in the community. You want to make sure that your educational plan is sound. What kind of assessments will you use? Does it align to the curriculum? Does the curriculum align to the standards? Does the standards actually fit into what the community is in need of? What kind of after-school programs will you allow in your facility, if you will even have any? What will your parent involvement be inside your school? What kind of plays and story times and book clubs will you allow to happen in your school? Everything needs to be thought of, and you need to have a rollout plan for when it's going to occur. When you're opening a school, more than likely you're going to start with whatever your foundation grade is. And I say that because there are plenty of people who have started a school at grade 5. There's plenty of people who started a school at pre-K or kindergarten. If you're going to build a high school, you're obviously going to build it out at starting from 9th or 10th. What does that look like? And if you're growing a school from the bottom up, meaning pre-K or kindergarten, and you're going to go all the way up to 8th grade or up to 12th grade, what does that look like? Scheduling plays a huge factor. The courses and regents and testing that happens for those age grades are a huge factor. So if you feel like you are ready to build a school, you want to make sure that your plan is clear, obtainable, and realistic. You want to make sure that every standard test, every local assessment is being addressed if necessary, because again, it depends on your structure. And you also want to know that I have additional resources outside of the locality of the school system. And I say that because you might need to have family counselors around you that are private. You may need to have psychologists who are around you who are private. You want to know who is in the community before you build this school out. You want to have relationships already standing. And depending on where you are located, you may have to have the petition filled out by people of the community stating that they would want this type of school in their community in the first place. And I'm saying this generically because each state is different. But if you're here in New York, then yes, the petition is necessary. You also want to know that if there's any intervention and special ed services that are needed, that you are already making the proper contact with your school district so that those students can properly be served. Anything that's out of your general ed range, then you have to make sure you have a system and policy in place that can navigate parents into the proper setting for their children if your school cannot serve them. You also want to make sure that you have different languages, or at least languages that represent your community, present within your building. You have to make sure that all of your lines of communication are apprehensible for everybody who is a stakeholder in the community and for those of the families that you serve. Starting a school is a huge commitment. It is a lifetime change to the community. So the proper person that can open up a school, or the proper group of people, are those who can at least invest 3 to 5 years minimum on seeing the growth and the change that's needed to get the school off of the ground. Anyone who cannot commit that type of time is not ready to build a school. You want people who can help navigate the plan and execute the plan. So when you're building your board, you want professionals and you want those from the community. You want parents as well, because they will make up the body of voices that need to address anything that's going on within inside the school. You want it as diverse as possible, but people who are driven and intrigued by exactly what the school is going to be about. People who can help you live that mission and cheerlead that mission. You also want to have people on your staff that can implement and cheer that mission. So the commitment for when you start off with school is huge. Think of it as like a baby that you just gave birth to, and you are responsible for every aspect of this child's life. That's what building a school is like. Understanding all the elements that's needed so that it can grow properly and be really, really great towards your community. I hope that this video intrigues you and gave you some ideas of things that you need to think about if you are trying to start a school. Everybody has great intentions, but it's really about the implementation, the vision, and who is on the team that can help you get it done. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are interested in really and truly building a school, and right now you just want to go through the stages of building it out and then building the team after, then I suggest that you check out my class called Building Schools, and it's a 6-module session. You can go to the website www.theeducatorsuite.com and look for the Blueprint course. Hope to see you soon. Take care.